I'm sure you guys remember this fragrance right here, La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. This one definitely made a big impact in the fragrance community, in my opinion, for good reason. And the reason why I believe that this one did so well was that it catered to the people who was really in love with the original La Nuit de l'Homme. You know, if you're someone that's newer to collecting, you're newer to fragrances and things like that, this release, which only came out a couple years ago, might not have really hit close to home for you because you haven't been around as long, right? You haven't really lived through all of the different ebbs and flows of the fragrance community in this hobby, right? But there was a point where La Nuit de l'Homme was one of the most unique and interesting designer fragrances out there. And in my opinion, or at least for me anyway, it's still one of my very favorite designer scents. You know, even after all of these years, so many more flankers, so many new releases, I still love the DNA of La Nuit de l'Homme. There's something special about it. There's something that is very unique, very captivating, very mesmerizing, and very mysterious about that scent. And over the years, it has changed, right? A lot of it is due to just the restrictions that these brands, designer niche, anybody creating fragrances, right? The restrictions that they have to face when it comes to producing these on the mainstream widespread level, right? The IFRA restrictions are a real deal. And over time, they have to reformulate things and tweak things in order to abide by those rules and things that are set in place. And so because of that, La Nuit de l'Homme has changed a lot over the years, and people have had some poor experiences with it, more so recently because they smell what it smells like now and how it's being produced now. And maybe that doesn't line up with the older reviews of it back in the day. And unfortunately, that's just kind of how this hobby goes. A lot of times things do tend to change. And so what made Bleu Electrique so special was that they kind of threw back to that original La Nuit de l'Homme formulation a little bit. This is rich, it's strong, it's La Nuit de l'Homme with that cardamom amped up as far as you can take it. It is a fantastic flanker. But not long after it was released here in the US, it was pretty quickly discontinued. I don't know what was going on with this. I don't know why that happened, but it did. And it wasn't even as a result of sales, in my opinion, because it happened so quick. And it was selling quick when it first came out. So I guess it was just a limited edition release. Maybe they got into some issues with the formulation of it, and maybe it wasn't fully living up to the expectations of how it's supposed to be formulated by these bigger entities out there. I don't know. But this pretty quickly became a rarity. And for the longest time, we really haven't had too many solid La Nuit de l'Homme clones. Now, if you're looking at the original, it's still $80, $90, $100, even on discounters. Bleu Electrique is going to be well up over $100. Every now and then it will pop up on discounters for below that or for a pretty fair price, but that's few and far between. And now we finally have a fantastic La Nuit de l'Homme clone, and it also kind of trickles over to Bleu Electrique as well. This one is by Fragrance World, and it is called Jack of Clubs. So, you know, when you look at this, the bottle, the name, the presentation, all of that stuff, it doesn't really exude any sort of La Nuit de l'Homme attributes. However, I can assure you, this one really does smell very similar to it. So let's start off actually with the presentation. So what they have gone and done is they kind of went for this style here where the box sits down on top of it just like so, like that. You pull this off and your bottle's standing up there. A little bit more of a premium feel. A lot of niche fragrances go this direction. And honestly, a lot of designer fragrances do not do this. It's a little bit more of a premium feel. It's pretty cool. You also get a deck of playing cards right here. And that is supposed to slot in right back behind the bottle. A cool little touch. Pretty neat. They do appear to be actual cards. I believe a full set is in there. I'm not going to open these, but it's there, and that's pretty cool. So let's dive into this one. How does it smell? I mean, you give it one spray up in the air, not even getting it on skin, you're hit with that beautiful cardamom bliss. It smells phenomenal. It's warm, it's spicy, it has a very nice head-turning texture to it. Not long after that, you're getting a lot of lavender here, which is, again, very similar to La Nuit de l'Homme. Gives it a little bit more of a fresh balance, a little bit of a masculine feel. You get some amber in here as well, kind of adding to that sweetness. A little bit of a tonka bean feel also, but primarily it's really honing in on that cardamom lavender mixture, which is what La Nuit de l'Homme is all about. And I do find that scent DNA as a whole to be very interesting because it is warm, spicy, but it also has kind of a fresh, clean balance. So it does a couple of different genres really well. And I think that's what really kind of adds to the appeal to it also. Because when it comes down to it, not everybody is into sweet scents and not everyone is into fresh scents as well. It just kind of depends, right? Everybody has their preferences. But when you have something that plays both sides of the story there, then you really start to appeal to a lot more people. And also the fact that this DNA, even after all of these years, still stands out and is unique. It really makes this one a fantastic scent to wear if you do want to kind of stand out and smell different and just have a change of pace. Because yes, there is a little bit of a sweetness to this scent, you know, the cardamom, the warm spiciness, the amber, but it's not like your new style of men's scent where it's very sweet, you know. This is not to that level. It still kind of maintains a nice balance here. And again, going back to BLEU ELECTRIQUE, one of the things that was so nice about that one was the fact that it kind of reintroduces that very sharp and strong cardamom accord, which maybe has been watered down over the years in La Nuit de l'Homme. And it's the same thing here. You get hit with that cardamom right off the top. It's spicy, it's strong, it's in your face. I mean, you get it, and there's no denying it. There's no hiding it either. It's there, and it smells amazing. That's what makes this one so fantastic. That's why I really like this, because again, going back to what I was saying earlier, there aren't a ton of La Nuit de l'Homme clones out there, which is surprising because it is one of the most popular designer fragrances. I mean, that got a ton of hype back a few years back, 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was really getting a ton of publicity and talk, but there just weren't ever a ton of clones for it, at least good ones. I mean, think about it. We have Creed Aventus, we have Dior Sauvage, Aqua de Jo, Bleu de Chanel, all of these things, all of which have pretty fair amount of clones, different alternatives for you to get that scent at a lower price. But we never really had that with La Nuit de l'Homme. It seems like up until recently, we're finally starting to get some things that are kind of going similar to it. And so far, out of all of the ones I've tried, this is by far the closest and the best alternative to La Nuit de l'Homme, and even La Nuit de l'Homme BLEU ELECTRIQUE because of that rich cardamom. This one's coming in at an eau de parfum concentration. Longevity on my skin has been really fair at about 7 to 8 hours. I can't complain. The scent DNA itself has never been a beast mode type of scent or a performance monster. It's always been average to maybe even below average for newer formulations or whatever. It's always been a date night scent where I only expect to get a couple hours out of it. So 7 to 8 for me, that's perfect. Projection is on the softer side. It does leave a really nice trail. It will hang in the air for a long time. Quality is fantastic. I really don't have any complaints for what I paid for this one, about I think $50 or so, which is about roughly half the price of La Nuit de l'Homme, and in terms of BLEU ELECTRIQUE, you know, well less than half the price. I don't even know what that stuff is going for on eBay and things like that, but overall, I think it's a really nice savings here if you're looking to get into that DNA at a lower price and just easier to get in terms of BLEU ELECTRIQUE, which again is getting harder to find as the days go on. If you do want a fighting chance at getting La Nuit de l'Homme BLEU ELECTRIQUE, I recommend you get on my mailing list and my texting list at the link and number down below. Anytime something rare, discontinued, or hard to find comes into stock, I do send out a notification allowing you to pick that up before it does sell out. And even same thing with clones like this. This one's not fully available on the main discounters yet. However, once it does hit, I will send out a notification. You'll be able to pick your bottle up quickly and probably for a better price than what I paid for mine. And so if you want to be the first to know about these deals, make sure you sign up down below. That's going to do it for me, guys. Jack of Clubs by Fragrance World. Fantastic La Nuit de l'Homme alternative. I highly recommend you grabbing a bottle once it becomes available to you. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.